NGHIEM'S Fairy Tales. NGHIEM'S Fairy Tales.
Hello, welcome to episode 2 of NGHIEM'S Fairy Tales. Our theme currently is I Used to Be. I'm your host, James, Nim, and today we have my very good friend, Julius the Robot. Say what up.
What up, Oklahoma City?
How you been today?
Oh, I've been really good. You know, I went into work for a couple hours, just mining away in society, and earning my keep here on this planet.
Gotta keep earning your keep. We're gonna sweep you away.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, I had work today. I ate some really good Indian food and feeling really awesome.
Oh, that sounds like the perfect day. I'm jealous.
Yeah, no, I just want to say, shout out to Taj, Indian cuisine. Oh my gosh, I can't talk right now. Taj Indian Cuisine, because they recently updated their sign, and I really enjoy how clean their design is on this new sign that they have going on. And yeah, I just love that place so much.
I like it. I think as restaurants, they always love it when you compliment their graphic design over their food.
Eat at Taj. It's delicious. They have to-go buffet. You can get 3 items for $7.99 with naan, and you can also get 6 items for $10.99. Just go in there and buy their food. It's fucking delicious.
This podcast isn't sponsored by Taj, but if you'd like to sponsor us, that would be cool with me. I like 3 items.
Yeah.
I could eat 3 items all day.
No, and they give you a lot. They really do. But no, that's just what I ate today. And yeah, I'm feeling really good. I took a 3-hour nap after eating that. And yes, I'm very satisfied and very happy.
So my friend Julius has been a lot of things in their life. They always tell me the things. I think there are a lot of things right now, currently, probably. They're always pretty busy.
Yes.
But I want to focus mainly on this concept of which you've alluded to over the course of our friendship a lot as you're used to be a lonely internet kid. You grew up a lonely internet kid.
Yes. So I became acclimated to the interweb probably, I want to say 97 was my most consistent interaction with being online.
Okay.
And I fell in love.
Okay, pause. All right, before we go any farther, can you explain to the world what your idea of what a lonely internet kid is?
Okay, so I've lived a double life. So I have my real life, but I also participated in a lot of creative communities online from the time that I was, I want to say 12 up until now.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of conversations going on.
So you didn't used to be anything. You're a lonely internet kid right now.
Yeah, well, yes and no. I'm not lonely by any means now. I don't know. When I was a kid, I mean, you can't possibly comprehend everything that's going on in your life as a kid. All I knew is that the internet was there for me. I made friends online, and I just participated in creative communities, and I wrote stories with friends. I made art. I was just doing whatever felt good to me.
Yeah, we're gonna get into a lot of those different aspects because you have a lot of good stories about that.
Yes.
I kind of want to intro this a little bit better. I think when I first had met you, you had gotten into Momentum.
Yes, yeah, I was in Momentum Ada, which was different from my understanding of Momentum at the time.
Before we go, can you put the mic a little bit closer to your mouth? Yeah, that's cool.
Is that better?
That's perfect.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Okay, so before we move on a little bit, before we keep moving, can you explain to people at home who aren't familiar with the art community and what Momentum is?
Okay, so Momentum is a program that is put on by, I believe, OVAC, who it reaches out to younger and upcoming artists. And I applied for Momentum in 2016. I believe it was 2016. I have a hard time with years. Okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
I believe it was 2016. And I was accepted as their new media spotlight artist, and I was able to create a project that was specifically designed to be presented at this event.
Yeah.
And
It was weird.
it was, yeah,
So,
it was.
so one of the first things I remember about you is you made this installation, this art installation, and it was at Momentum in Ada, and then after that, it was in Norman, I think.
Yeah, it kind of moved around. Okay, so the project that I submitted to Momentum Ada was called Pink Hell, and it was a online blog that I ran for about a year before I actually made it into a physical installation.
Yeah.
And that period of time where I submitted to Momentum Ada, I decided that, okay, well, I should try and like move this around a little bit more so that people can see it.
Yeah.
Like, because it kind of sucks to like just have something be seen once.
I'm gonna describe this thing that you made.
it's
it was just a big pink room with like a bunch of frilly shit.
Yes, and I have a funny story. So one of those installations that I did, one of the first things that this random guy, don't know who he was just there for the exhibition for the art show that night. He walked in, he was like, I feel like I'm in a vagina right now. And I just looked at him, and like one of the people that was with him was just like, oh my God, please shut up. That's the artist right there. Like, what is wrong with you? And he's just like, what? That's how I feel. Like, I'm in a vagina. And I'm just like, okay, well, if that's your interpretation, I guess.
I didn't feel like I was in a vagina at
I
all.
didn't either. Like, I mean, and that's obviously not what I was going for, but for whatever reason, this person had that reaction to it.
So it was like this big pink, like fluorescent pink room with a bunch of frilly shit everywhere and like TV screens. And the TV screens were on loop, and it was just like videos of you with like a really feminine wig on, like making kissy faces at the screen.
Yeah, and then also over time deconstructing that feminine image and taking off like the wig and taking off the makeup and like
It felt like The Ring, like you were like the person from The Ring.
Yeah,
just, like, kill people.
Yeah, not gonna lie, huge inspiration. Like, I probably saw that film 3 times in theaters, not gonna lie.
So I remember like barely knowing you at that time when we were hanging out and I was sitting in your art installation with you, and I was like kind of drunk, and I remember being like the obvious, just like, what does this mean? What does this piece mean? Just as a joke, like I was asking as a joke. And then you just looked at me very sincerely. You had an answer, and you're just like, it's probably about growing up a lonely internet kid. And like I had no fucking idea what that meant. But over the course of time, you kind of have like a lot of stories that kind of like have like make sense to me, I guess now. So I guess this is what this episode is about. That's a roundabout way of getting into things.
Hell yeah. Yes, I definitely like was inside my head a lot when I was younger. I think that these days I would be considered extroverted.
Yeah.
But when I was much younger, I was very like internal, a lot more like just inside myself. And I just spent a lot of time online. Like I made so many friends and like just worked on like really cool like little projects that I was just like so hyped about. Like I've been trying to make like comic books forever, and that's where like it kind of started. I was interested in cartoons and illustration, and with my ability to get online, I found people who were interested in the same things. And so naturally I was like, what if like, you know, we like wrote this story and like we tried to do these different things. So like I just spent a lot of time like creating online with like different friends. And I have friends now that I've had since I was 12, but we grew up through the internet together, and that's a very unique experience.
Do you hang out with these people like in real life, or?
I have met a lot of online friends in real life, which for some people can be a little bit shocking. There's been times where I've described these experiences to people, and they're just like, I would never meet someone that I met online. And I was just like, Well, there's a lot of like signs that you can like see that someone's like a genuine person versus not a genuine person, or someone who's being gross on the internet.
Yeah, you got a lot of horror stories. I don't want to like press you to tell any. I mean, you have some that are just like kind of funny. I don't know.
Well, there was I remember having my first experience with, I want to say like, not necessarily hacking. Okay, so like when I was when I was a kid, the internet access that I had from like 2000, like early 2000 to 2003, I was stealing my neighbor's internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was stealing my neighbor's internet, and I don't know what happened, but like, okay, so I lived in the country, and this person was like, God, like, it's hard to imagine how far away they were, having lived in the city for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But they were really far away, and I was able to be on their internet connection from where my house was. And I'm just like, what happened to that?
How far?
First of all,
this podcast is like really meandering. I'm sorry. How far was you? How far were you away? How far were you?
I'm
reaching?
trying to like think how far away I was. Okay, like I want to say. I'm so bad at like measurements. Okay. I want to say that we were probably like, if you're in a crowded neighborhood, 10 houses away from each other.
Yeah.
Like we were 10 houses away from each other, and I could pick up their Wi-Fi.
Was there nobody with internet in between there? So it was just like
no, it was just us two. Like it was just us two. Everyone else was like super, like way further away from us out in the country.
So you grew up in the country. This is Oklahoma?
Yes, I grew up in Lawton, Oklahoma.
Okay, in the country.
Yes, I moved to Lawton, Oklahoma in '99.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Lawton, Oklahoma, and my first experience is stealing internet was from my neighbor, which, by the way, thank you. I don't know if we keep up, because I know that my mom keeps up with people that we used to live around, but...
So, like, you listening at home, I'd be like, this story, everybody steals the internet. Not in 1999.
not in this...
Not in the countryside.
Yeah, not in this specific situation, because, like, I knew, like, I fell in love with the internet. Like,
I thought you were going to say with that kid.
No, I fell in love with the internet. I had a digital version of the Encyclopedia Britannica when I was like 8 years old, maybe. Yeah. And it was one of those that you bought like on a CD-ROM. I recently was talking to a friend of mine. He was like, I had a physical copy of the Encyclopedia Britannica that was like family owned.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's weird. I had a digital version. And he's probably like 36 or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's fucking wild to me. Anyway, I was stealing my neighbor's internet from the time I was in junior high to 10th grade.
Nice.
Yeah. Because they didn't have it password protected or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I mean, that's what I do
like,
kind of now sometimes.
I mean,
I would.
I mean, like, my homies, like, we had MSN Messenger, AIM, all of those, like, old messengers. And, like, I just wanted to talk to my friends and also, yeah, participate in online forums where I, like, could upload drawings and, like, make little, like, comic books with other people online.
Yeah. You used to write stories with your friends, right? Like, demon hunter stories or whatever?
Yeah, like, just, like, really some weird-ass anime shit.
Yeah.
Okay, like, I was into anime when I was really young, and, yeah. I tried to make my own stories with my friends, and they were really cool. I'm not gonna lie. I thought they were cool. I still think they're cool. I'm
sure they are. I mean, can you give us a premise? Hit me with a premise.
Okay. There was a lot. There was a lot of writing going on. One of them that I can recall was like centered around like vampires, and obviously like vampires can live like a bajillion years, and like there's just like I don't know. We like created these scenarios where you could just like drop a character in.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this character has been alive for like 7,000
You
years.
sound like you're talking about some Dungeons and Dragons shit right now.
Kind of. I don't know. Like, it's a mixture of all those things. Like, I've been involved in like so many online communities. It doesn't make any sense. Like, no sense at all.
You're one of so you just had a song come out pretty recently. You're
Yes.
an artist. You're a musician.
Yes.
You're one of the only people in this Oklahoma City music scene who kind of talks about music the way that you do, I think, or you're the only person I've met who kind of talks about music in like the way that you do. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know. Okay, so I'm pretty active, or I've been fairly active for the last 13 years playing drums.
Yes.
And there's like a bar scene, and there's like a studio scene. There's people trying to get in commercials, people trying to get in record deals, people trying to just get free beers. That's another thing.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing, which, yeah, anytime I'm at your bar, if you're willing to give me a free beer, yes, I will accept that free beer.
But when it comes to you, I feel like you don't really play any of those games in the same way. Maybe you do, but like you always like you have.
Well, there's a role for those aspects in music and performance.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard because if I can define what I do in the most general sense, is I'm a multimedia artist. So like I do visual art, I do music, I do graphic design. I've participated in several different aspects in the art community.
But okay, so you put out a new song,
Yes.
like maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, and you said, "Hey, this is a song I've been working on with my internet friend."
Yeah.
And that every song that you put out, I noticed that you're just like, "Hey, I've been working on this song with my internet friend," and like that's like what you do. It's not like I got this show here.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to like.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The online communities that I've somehow become involved in over the years have been really wonderful. And I don't know, we just the people that I work with, we just happen to either we have like similar influences or we just like kind of vibe together. Like a lot of times like these people like I chat with beforehand, like we talk for a while before we actually make anything.
Yeah.
So we get to know each other. And this most recent one with my friend Justin, he actually lives in Texas. At the moment, I'm having trouble recalling where in Texas, but he lives in Texas.
So have you guys met ever?
No, we've never met in
Okay,
person.
so yeah. So this is like a really interesting approach to me because like I feel like you have a lot of songs and they're always not like all the time different with different producers, but there's a lot of like not a lot of crossover sometimes, and it'll be like different people producing tracks and just like jump on some vocals, writing lyrics.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really hard thing to talk about because like Justin is the newest person that I've worked with. And actually that song was finished like it's been like a year that we've been like working on this one song.
Yeah.
And we both are working artists, so we have day jobs, and there's just like a lot of stuff going on. And with my involvement in like the Oklahoma City creative community, there's just a lot of projects that I'm juggling all at once.
Yeah.
And with him, there was a handful of times like we were messaging back and forth for a long time, and he just wasn't satisfied with the mix, so it was just like back and forth.
Yeah.
And then finally he decided, this is the one, I'm going to go ahead and put it out. And I was like, okay, then I'm going to produce a music video for it and just like kind of play around with some images that I've had in my mind and just want to like see what happens with it.
Yeah. I think it's like a really, I don't know, I just feel like it's a really like freeing kind of art process. And like I'm not really used to it, but it's like cool watching you work because it's just like, so like, hey, we're just gonna do this damn thing and not like worry about it.
Yeah, and I appreciate his patience so much. And it's funny because like back and forth, like there was like a lot of like, I'm sorry, like this took so long, and I'm like, no, there's no need to apologize. Like these things like take time, especially like given that we have to deal with like adult life.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, it happened in the way that it needed to. And I'm just happy that it's done and out of my head, so I don't have to think about it anymore, so I don't have to listen to that song anymore, and it can just like exist now and be done.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's like all your songs are like that. Like they're kind of like
just one
producer. There's like a producer you work with in Argentina, I think.
Yes, OG. Oh, that's my baby. We have known each other, like, I met him online while I was in college, and I remember reaching out to him because I had listened to his beats, and I basically was just like, hey, so this is weird, but I have this idea that I want to, like, rap over these beats that you've made. Like, how do you feel about that? And we just kind of continue to dialogue from there. We've just made music over the years. Like, we've been friends now for probably, like, I want to say like 7 years now.
Jeez.
It's been a long time. Like, and it's all just like correspondence based. So like we check in probably with each other like 2 or 3 times a year, like via video call or whatever, or like whatever. And I have some songs that I'm working on with him right now, but like it's just kind of on the DL.
Yeah,
like,
that's
we're
chill.
just kind of working on stuff.
I don't know what else to explore. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you do have like a lot of stories. I'm doing a bad job of pulling them out of you, but I think like for the most part, this entire podcast is just kind of an excuse for me to hang out with my friends.
Yes.
So if you're listening,
which is good.
if you're listening to this and like, man, James is really scatterbrained today. Sorry. This is just how some of the episodes are gonna be.
Yeah, and that's okay. I don't know. The internet is a fascinating topic. I mean, it really is. I mean, I feel like having grown up in it, I've watched it change so much. Like the way that it is now feels so different compared to how it was for me growing up, because it just felt like there was more engagement, at least in the communities that I was involved in when I was a kid, versus now, which is like, it's just like exploded. It's crazy.
You think it's good or bad? Like more engagement or less?
And it's hard because like the bombardment of information is a lot for people. I mean, I have friends left and right who are talking about like, oh, like I've deleted my Twitter or I'm deleting social media, which by all means fucking do that shit if you need that shit. Like humans are not meant to process this much information all at once.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, I don't know. It's ruined my day a couple of days this week.
Yes. And I'm sure like so many people between the two of us, like in our social groups, can say that they're just like, I'm just so exhausted by social media. I just want to get away from it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's the time that we live in. And being kind of plugged in can be both beneficial and detrimental.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have been like, you know, keeping up with stuff that's happening in Oklahoma City, and one of the groups that I'm really impressed by and just happy that they fucking exist is the Black Times.
Yeah.
And I just want to take a second to like talk about their work, because I mean,
You're getting all the plugs in today. We got Times.
yeah, plugs.
We got Black Times.
Yeah, the Black Times. Okay, I just want to say, just like follow the Black Times, like support them in any way that you can, because like it's amazing to see journalism at its rawest. Like these are people that have been affected by police brutality and just like a lot of stuff going on in Oklahoma City that has been unaddressed.
Yeah.
Both here in the state and nationally. And I believe in what they're doing, and I just want to see them do well. You know, you can find them, Black Times Official, everywhere. Just look them up, Black Times OKC. Like I cannot speak any more good about them than what they're already doing. Like it's all already there online. You can just go look at it. Like I'm just very proud of them and like happy to see them doing their thing.
Yeah. Look them up.
Yeah, look them up
On the internet.
Yeah, the internet that you have access to in your fucking pocket.
We've come full circle, everybody.
Yes. It's I don't know. This is my city. Like I moved here 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And didn't imagine that I would ever end up living here. And so like I just want to see people like in my city that care about this place and I don't know, doing the good work. I want to see them do well.
Yeah.
And be heard and seen.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
This got really serious.
It did. It really did. I'm sorry. But
That's
also
okay.
I'm not sorry.
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry for anything that anybody says to you during a pandemic. It's just like people got to talk. And there's a lot of things to say.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about during this time.
All the time. Do you have anything else you'd like to talk to me about the internet?
I don't think so. I can't think of anything. We can just keep talking.
We can. I might talk to you outside of this mic.
Nice.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode. I don't know how this one came out. I think it came out pretty good.
I think so.
I enjoyed doing it.
Yes.
I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it. Julius, you want to give some more plugs before we bounce?
I mean, I don't really have anything at this moment, but James has done a lot of work in the city. He's given me a lot of like space in the city.
Julius is plugging me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna plug James
on
in
my
this
own
moment.
podcast.
Yeah. You know, whenever you told me that this was the topic, the topic for the podcast was I used to be. I just wanted to start it out by saying I used to be Mitch Hedberg, but that's a whole nother topic.
Julius is the reincarnation of Mitch Hedberg, by the way.
I guess so. I don't know. Gender bending is a whole fucking like experience in this timeline that we live on.
That's why I like hanging out with you so much, because you're like the closest I can be to being with Mitch Hedberg. I'm James, your host. Keep popping to this YouTube channel for more content.
Hell yeah.
Thank you guys. Peace.
Bye, internet. Bye.